Boom.
Whoa.
We are recording. Sorry, was it a little bit too loud for you, Biz?
Yeah, I blew out my eardrums.
Okay. But anyway, hello, listeners. This is the second episode of Xclude with Xclude podcast. My guest to the right of me is a good buddy of mine. Taught me a thing or two about DJ. Has been in the Mid-Atlantic scene for more than I've been alive, I would like to think. Is an open format DJ. Plays every genre that you could imagine. A great buddy, a cancer fighter, drone racer, and all these numerous other facets that I'm going to try to find out today. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Bis.
Hey, buddy. Thank you for including me.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm included in the
The
Xclude
Explain podcast, yeah.
podcast.
Yeah,
That is exciting.
We'll begin first by me handing you this. That's actually yours. While we were we were packing stuff out from you moving, I was like, let me just take that Mortal Kombat CD because it had some like old school like techno tracks on there that were like that was like that's kind of interesting. So I was like, let me just swipe it and give it back to him without him knowing.
Man.
Yeah, it's in one piece. It's in one shape. I guess that's my gift to you, even though it's actually yours.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I like when people gift my own stuff to me. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, my bad.
No, that's all good. Yeah, but I had fun with that.
Yeah.
Well, was that like a thing? Like the hope, like what inspired you to get that? That CD? If you can remember way back when.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, this came out. I mean, I was still pretty darn young, and I mean, I can see here it's got a lot of stuff that I like. I like Megadeth. I like Rammstein. There's a couple of things here that I probably liked at the time, but I liked the movie, and I was
the movie was cool. Yeah,
I
like number one, more than number two, but either one.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Mortal Kombat when I was a kid. Yeah. So saw the movie and I thought, hey, it's got electronic music, which at the time, to me it was electronic music, and I like goofy stuff like that, and so yeah, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I took some tracks. I've yet to play them out. I have yet to find like the right night to play it. You know what I mean? But it's still like it's good and nice to have, especially straight from the CD.
Cool, yeah. To be honest, I don't remember what most of the stuff. We have Explosive, The Future Sound of London. I definitely remember that. That's a hot one. But a lot of the other ones, I don't remember.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's been a long, long time since I heard this.
Well, I'm going to bring you back up to speed a little bit with something else. So we met up at the Audio Jam car show, X amount of years ago.
That's right.
It was a hot day. I remember that. You were playing underneath the little pop-up tent the Audio Jam had.
Yeah.
All the cars were there, with big ass sound systems with something you would see at like Hot Import Nights if you've ever been there. And
I actually DJ'd the main stage.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we'll get back to that.
Sorry.
At least no, that's fine. No, that's fine. I'm glad you reminded me of that. But I'm guessing that experience led you to Audio Jam, and being that you're local here in the Mid-Atlantic region, it was only kind of natural that I met up with you there, I guess, I suppose. Because I wanted to DJ, and my whole reason why I wanted to start doing this in the first place was I was going out at the time, going in the neighborhood region of Philadelphia, around 13th Street, trying to find myself. And what I was noticing is, the DJs would play, at the local clubs like Voyeur and Woody's, and also was Eye Candy and a couple other spots. They were playing that same kind of rotation. Whatever, the new Calvin Harris, the new Calvin Harris, Drake, all these other big names. And I was like, those guys are cool, but I feel that there's more to it's more than just a rotation. It's more than just what you hear on the radio music wise.
Right.
And I felt that there was more tracks out there that had more substance and should be more well known. And I feel it's kind of our job as DJs to kind of push that onto the crowd to a degree, yet let them have their own satisfaction. Let them want, if you know as a DJ that there's tracks out there that they want to hear, we'll play it, but we've got to sneak a little bit of ourselves into the mix just as well, a little bit.
Right. Absolutely.
For sure. And that's what made me want to try to pursue this whole kind of DJ thing. And then I think like next day or something like that, whatever the jump was, I met up with you and was just like, hey, could you could you show me a thing or two about this whole DJ thing? And you could have said no, but thankfully you said yes, and X amount of years later we're here.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, man. Do you remember what year that was?
Oh God.
Because I think that the first...
Maybe like 16, 15, 20.
It was 16?
I think so, maybe.
Probably 16. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, that was my first time doing it for them, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, that was cool, and I appreciate that you reached out to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were cool. You were recording stuff, right? You were
At the time, I'm not
At
quite
the
sure. I think so. Yeah, actually, for my YouTube channel, I think, because I saw Mike Feedy there. Mike Feedy is a local BMX pro. And he was there at the show. I think I recorded some stuff with him, or I just had a really nice chat with him.
okay.
And I saw him, and then I met up with you, and then I saw all these cars. It was a good time. And then I ended up actually, about a week or two later, the head unit in my Infinity G20, it just it gave out.
Oh,
I went to Audio Jam. I got a Kenwood unit.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. With Bluetooth and everything else, all the luxury features. It was cool.
Nice.
I liked it, man.
Yeah.
So
there
I
was
went
some-
back to Audio Jam for them.
Cool.
But why going like from the beginning, day one? I guess you could say. Why did you DJ? Like when did you start? Like what was the
Yeah.
inspiration behind you trying to get out there with some turntables and a mixer and just play out? What was the reason behind that?
My intentions were really excitement. I was just so excited to. I was collecting music, vinyl and CDs as a kid. I didn't really have anything to play them in.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I got a chance to get a turntable and a Discman, and I could put my collection to use, at least on a personal in a personal way.
Right.
And then I decided that I wanted to, like, people would generally say that I had a good taste in music, and because I was spending money and I had all the music, I ended up throwing parties in my basement, just like this.
Yeah.
And I would have all my high school friends come over. And
On the weekend, Friday night.
yeah. Birthdays were celebrated there. You name it. We had a lot of fun, good parties in the basement. But I always just had a boombox, just
starting
a
out.
CD.
Yeah.
And then I had my booklets of CDs or cases with CDs, and I had to stop the music, stop the fun, changed it to another disc. It was a single player, a single CD boombox. So you had to eject and pop in the new one and then start the next song and
flip the CD over to the B side. Yeah.
So pretty soon after that, I realized no, I want to do this more like a DJ. I actually want
But
to
be more
try
proper.
trying to mix, like, blend one song into another smoothly and have it without any pause. And so that began my, I guess, search to figure out how it was done.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a general idea because I had walked by Radioshack's shelves.
Radioshack. Where are they now?
Yeah. And I looked at, there goes an audio mixer. And I grabbed it and I looked behind. Yeah, it's got what I need. RCA inputs for my Discman. And I had but this time I had gotten a second one, second Discman player. So I could play two, but I didn't have anything to plug them into. So the boombox didn't have inputs, two inputs for me to plug. into. But eventually I got a realistic mixer from Radioshack, which was, the lowest end mixer I could afford, and that was good enough.
Yeah.
It was a 2-channel. I don't even think, it had a crossfader, but instead of a traditional, like what we know today as a fader cap, it had like this thing that you would not be able to really scratch with.
Gotcha.
Really, yeah. But hey, it did the job. I don't even know if it had a microphone input. It was tiny little thing, the size of almost a jewel case.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was really small. It was just like a toy. But with that, I was able to plug my 2 Discmans on there and
Let it rip.
let it rip. Yes, and I had a bunch of old speakers and bookshelf speakers that were given to me, and I hooked that all up to, I forget what it was that was powering it. Yeah, like an old like 70s or 80s amplifier, and that was powering it. Eventually, it burned out, and then I just had to continue looking for the better,
The next
better
best
equipment.
thing.
Exactly, the next best
At a
thing
good
that
deal,
I
at a
could,
good price.
yes, that I could afford.
What was stuff relatively for audio equipment back then? Was it relatively expensive, kind of like how it is now, like, or was it kind of like cheaper depending on like, let's say Radio Shack? They were like, I guess, decent prices, but
I guess it's kind of hard to enumerate that or to put it in terms that we can understand today, because for one, I was really young, didn't have a really good job. I was working as a valet parking attendant.
I was a lot attendant at Toyota.
Yeah.
For that, yeah, dude, for like 3-4 years, I loved it. There was don't get me that one. There was ups and downs, but you drove everything there.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was rad. Look how drive stick through there.
Yep, yep. I was for a while. I was cleaning. I was doing cleaning for Delmarva Power.
Okay.
I would go in there and clean up. I would clean up trash. I would sweep. I would vacuum. I would do all kinds of stuff, and that was like my first job here in the country. And I mean, there was all kinds of stuff that I did to try to save a little money, and little by little I started upgrading. But I think equipment. I think you could say it was more expensive. I feel like it was more difficult to attain. Professional grade gear in those days. And I mean, it could be a thing where maybe it was just because I was just really young and I didn't have the means. I didn't have the money. But one thing is for sure, and that is that technology now has made the cost of really cool equipment
For sure.
come down a lot. I mean, for example, to the point where now, this controller here
Right.
is, replacing everything that we needed before: sampler, 2 turntables, a mixer.
Right. Everything's almost condensed.
All these things.
And
Yeah.
now you can find them almost. I don't want to say almost anywhere, but it's like you
Right.
can get it from a buddy who happens to DJ just as well, and you can just link up online on whatever marketplace and find it and go
Right.
and grab it, or just go like one-on-one.
Right. So yeah, it's kind of hard to compare, but because things have changed so much. Technology has influenced the way things are nowadays for us. But yeah, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, and it was good part of the lesson. The things that you need to learn to appreciate coming up as a DJ and getting into the business.
Where did you grow up from, and then how did you get here in the States?
Yes, I grew up in Costa Rica until I was 14. My mom was sick with cancer at that time. She had brain cancer, and eventually I was pretty bad in school. I was a pretty bad student, and it got to the point where my father said, if you don't pass, like I ended up failing 7th grade. And then he said, if you don't I'm gonna let you repeat, because he didn't have just money to
Mm-hmm.
throw away in an education that
Right.
I wasn't
I get
appreciating.
you.
So he said, if I'm gonna give you another opportunity to do seventh grade. If you fail again, you're done. You you know you're not going back to school. If you do make it, I'm gonna basically entitle you to, as a gift, I'm gonna send you to Miami to see your aunt, and that way you can go see Walt Disney. And basically, I passed, just barely made
Mm-hmm.
it, and so he's a man of his word, and he sent me to see my aunt in
Yeah.
Miami. At that time, my mom was in really, really, really bad shape,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where she couldn't talk anymore. She was just really frail in bed, and she was getting really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I got to Miami, got to see my aunt, got to see the United States for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then just a few days later, it seems like my aunt offered me to stay in
Wow.
Miami and go to school. And I mean, it's crazy because thinking about it now, but I accepted the offer. I think I was excited with the idea of being in the United States, and it was all new, and I think it was kind of a good way to kind of not forget, but kind of be away from the bad things that were going around in my home, with my mom not doing well and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is a very long story, so I
Sure.
don't want to
Sure.
drag into all my personal life, which is
That's
pretty
fine. We got
complicated.
more questions.
But basically, yeah, I came here when I was 14, and I transitioned from my aunt's house in Miami to my aunt's house in Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
They put me in high school. Then from there, I was sort of adopted by three American families, and through them, it was that I really was given the opportunity to explore music and become a DJ.
Gotcha.
And that wasn't until 97, 96, 97. And in 98, I finally declared myself an actual DJ
Word. And
and did my first kind of paid gigs.
so back in '97, what were you listening to back in '97? Like what sound, what singer like
Yeah, what
got your
artists? Mostly
attention?
hip hop. Mostly hip hop,
Mm-hmm.
and yep, mostly hip hop. And there was electronic music, stuff like this. We have Explosive, the future sound of London. I remember at the time I would get compilation CDs with
Was the mixtape game like on fire? Like was it? It's not. I'm not sure. It's like how it is now because it's not like you're selling it out of your car or on the street. It's more viral for sure. But it was like I'm not sure if like mixtapes were like really prevalent back then.
There were not so much. There were not so much. I mean, I made mixtapes. I mean, as a form of kind of recording to try to improve, so you could
Mm-hmm.
listen to
Right.
yourself. But yeah, mix CDs were a thing. You could go to Wilmington and go to like, a flea market
Yeah.
or farmers market and find a guy selling, slinging,
Yeah.
cool CDs from big guys in New York City or whatever, and
Right. Like Tony Touch. That was
yeah,
a big thing.
stuff
Tony
like
Touch. Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
And I remember, being like, yeah, I want to check this out because I want to listen, I want to learn.
Yeah.
YouTube wasn't around at that time,
Right. It
and
was like FYE or like your local record store.
yes,
You know what I mean?
so you had to just buy stuff, invest, and get the CDs, get the vinyl, check it out, see if you liked it. A lot of it you know might not be good, so you just put it aside and you keep going. But yeah, as far as the mixtape game in that era, um, you know, it was okay.
How was like promoting yourself back then? Like I know you had to promote yourself like via mixtapes, but like how else could you like shout out? How could you pay like because back then we don't have like we have now like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and all these other sources where we can kind of like shout out what we're doing.
Right. Yeah.
So how would you do that back then if
Well,
you?
I think it was very much word of mouth. Word of mouth was the most important, you know. And the more people you knew, the more people were talking about you, the more people you were bringing to your parties, the more people would build. And so it was more of a, you know, in person, you know, through flyers,
Yeah,
actual
posting on the street lamps.
paper flyers.
Yep.
Yep. So
Post it somewhere you get seen.
yep.
Put a phone number. Was that a phone? Did you have like a party line or something like that you can call?
I At the time I
missed
had
that.
an 800 number. So yeah,
Oh,
I
word.
ended up
Okay.
buying an 800 number.
I have one
But
for Google Voice now, but I'm just waiting for the right time to use it.
yeah.
Be like, call this number. You find out the secret location of the party. Oh, where is it at? Oh, I want to see that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean flyers and just good old word of mouth, man.
Gotcha. That
Yeah.
street team, street kind of
Yes.
mentality, guerrilla
Yes.
marketing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still do that. I still feel, despite all this marketing that we have to do on Instagram and everything else, we still got to like be out there on the street somehow. Let's posting and tagging up.
I think there's a place for that.
I think there is too, because like I feel one to one again. Going back to word of mouth, that's still I feel is the most valuable tool, and at least in my eyes.
Yeah, I think
Because
that's
like
cool.
it's like word of mouth. It's like if you were to see some kind of ad or a party or anything like that online, it wouldn't be as alluring as your friend telling you about it, because you're there in the moment.
It's that word of mouth thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and there's also a lot to be said about shaking somebody's hand and being like, "Hey,
Yeah.
man, I'm throwing a party," you know, and
Right.
maybe saying, "Hi, my name is such and such. You're welcome to come over to my party," kind
Right.
of thing, you know.
I understand.
So I think there's there's value to that, you know, and the thing is finding the time and the resources to actually get you know get people on the street.
Right.
You know, it's hard. And it's so easy to be kind of like, nah, I'll just take, money and just put it onto an advertisement online,
Mhm.
and I'll just pay an ad.
Right. Pay somebody to put it
Which
up.
is effective, if you know what you're doing,
Mhm.
but yeah, there's I still find value in flyers.
What was your first gig? And what was your first gig, if you remember
My
that?
first gig was actually my buddy's. I believe it was his birthday,
Okay.
and we were out in. He set me up in his garage, and
Okay. Garage band.
yeah, basically
Yeah, yeah.
it was a party out in his driveway. So I got in the shade in the garage with my little like bookshelf speakers and the crappy setup, the first with the realistic mixer and the
Mhm.
two Discman and
Did it bump though? Were there neighbors
N-
around or anything like that?
no, I mean in my mind it did bump. In my mind I was like the man, and I was
Right.
surely bumping that whole block, but no. No, the neighbors were probably, oh, that's cute.
Gotcha. My first gig was a house party for I think Cycle Scene Philadelphia. Because I'm still I still know the guys that Let me turn up my volume here a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah, I still know the guys that are located. Check. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're
cool.
sounding good.
But anyway, I know those guys that are in the whole cycle scene, just riding bikes everywhere around town, and that's it's a very local thing. We do it almost like once every week on a Saturday, and I got to know those guys through riding bikes, and then eventually they asked me to do a party for them, a house party. I was like, sure, and I got all my equipment, got paid like $20 or whatever. But I definitely had a good time, learned a thing or two, and it I had this thing set this up like sub pole set up, my little Harbinger unit, my little M350, I believe that's the model name.
When was this?
This was like I think say like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
2 years ago, give or take. And I had a blast with those guys, and hopefully I could do it again with Paul. And shout out to you, Paul, if you're listening right now. Thank you for putting me on that. I think if it wasn't for Paul, I would not have gotten the attention from Maria and doing a gig for Warehouse on Watts
Nice.
down in Philly, and that was probably my most epic so far gig, like for 400 plus people. Like,
Wow,
well,
that's awesome.
400 ish people. Now I only got to do that once, but we'll see this year if I can do it again. But
Shout out to Paul.
Yep.
Those are the kinds of connections that 10 years from now you're gonna be like, yeah, man, Paul.
Yeah, I did that
Paul
shit.
basically put
Right,
me
I
on,
got photos and
that's
all this,
how I
yeah.
got excited about it, and that's how I really got going.
Yep.
That's
Paul, Maria, Magna, and everybody else who lend a hand to help me get the equipment upstairs and everything else to help me get ready for the gig. Thank you. And whoever that whiskey sponsor was, thank you for giving me a free shot just as well. That was cool as shit. Let's see. Do you remember what you DJ'd on? I know you had that little for that first gig. I know it was that little micro mixer from Radioshack.
Yeah. What about it?
Do you remember what name brand that was by chance?
Yes, realistic.
Realistic. I
Yeah.
never heard that brand yet.
Yeah, it was one of Pioneers. I'm sorry, not Pioneers. Radio Shack's.
Oh,
kind
like
of-
house brand?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's a house brand for their audio equipment, and yeah. Mhm.
Gotcha. Let's see. I got written down here. Do you miss CDs? Do you miss kind of like that touch of vinyl in comparison to what we have now with digital, or do you just feel it's like less to lug around?
Well, you definitely don't miss the fact that you have to carry so much stuff. That'll never change. It's nice not to have to carry the heavy crates and the heavy CD cases.
Yeah.
But there's definitely, it's the typical argument. There's definitely something to being able to hold the media. Hold the record, hold the case,
Yeah.
hold the cover. And just to have it.
Right.
It's a physical thing that you own.
Mm-hmm.
While music in your computer just kind of, it could get deleted and you wouldn't even realize it.
Right.
If you don't play it often.
Mm. Or it could be in a random folder with all the other music that you have, and you'll be like, oh, I have that track. I never knew because I got it in
Right.
so many different damn subfolders.
Yeah, but I don't. I miss because even nowadays, when I go through my records, it's sort of a it's sort of emotional. It's sort of definitely there's this vibe to sticking my fingers through the records and being like, oh my god, I recognize that cover, and and pull it out, and sure enough, and all his memories just hit you back, and you're like, oh my god, I remember buying this record, or I remember playing this record for the first time. All these things, and with an MP3, you don't have that.
Right. You don't have that like character.
Yeah, like, oh, I remember when I
feel
downloaded this. No, that song got downloaded probably. It was in the queue with 100 other songs for my record pool, and it just all got downloaded in one big bulk zip file, and it's not memorable. So
the experience is not there. It's just a matter of you just clicking.
exactly. Boop. Yeah.
Done.
So that's what I think about actual media. I do miss it.
You know what else I miss? It was from my first days of going out. It was one of my first clubs that I ever went to in Philadelphia. If you've been in the music scene or lived in Philadelphia for a little while, you know what I'm talking about. Shampoo.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that place.
Yes. Me too.
Granted, when I first started going there, they were just starting to play hip hop, I believe, like down. I think it was in the main room. I forget. It was such a long time ago. But you DJ'd there just as well. Could you bring me back to that if you could? Like how was the vibe there on some nights with like Robbie and everybody else?
Um, could you repeat that again?
Yeah,
How was the vibe with
how's the vibe with Shampoo and like you DJing there?
Shampoo? Well, I
Like how
mean,
was it on
I
every
guess
any given night?
I get this could also go for it's a long story.
Okay.
And I yeah, but Shampoo has definitely made a huge mark on me as a DJ, and it was one of those spots where, I took inspiration to become a DJ, and to to become a DJ and to know what to play and to you know
Like learn the crowd.
well no at the beginning because I started just as an audience member going to
Okay, yeah, I get you. Yeah,
their
yeah.
Sunday
Yep.
parties, and it was a teen party, and Robbie Trunco was one of the main. He was I think he was the resident DJ for that event, and it was a pleasure always to go in there and hear him play music that I could relate to, because he would play it's I mean it's singed in my brain. He would play Robbie Rob and CNC Music Factory Boricua Anthem. It was a song that he would always use as part of this kind of Latin tribal house sounding set he would do.
Okay. I gotta look that
And
one up.
I mean, that shit wrecked every time. Like, I mean, it killed every time, at least for me.
I guess he would do it in like a different way every night, but somehow play the same song. I guess.
I just remember when I could feel it coming. I could feel the vibe
It's
coming.
like three tracks is gonna play that shit, and the
Yes.
fucking crowd is gonna go wild.
And if it didn't, I was always like just anxious, like when is it coming? Oh my god! Because when that shit dropped, I mean, in Shampoo nightclub at the time was just an amazing sounding room. I mean, through most of its life, the main room was just sick. And the vibe that could be built in that room due to the fact that the DJ had just so much power at his hands was incredible. And you really don't know how music feels until you go into a room like that,
I completely agree. It's you can't even if you have your headphones on, even if you listen to whatever mixtape on YouTube or SoundCloud, whatever, it doesn't compare to you being there live and you having, big ass, subs and a nice, a Function One system, all set, in every corner of the room, and you're just suffocated by sound. I mean that in a good way.
It is a physical
you're close.
experience.
Yeah, it's a physical
that has
thing.
you have to feel it. It's not you have to hear it. It's you have to feel it in order to really grasp
The gravity of it.
yes, the depth and the
Compassion.
man.
Love it.
And man, Robbie was just an absolute freaking legend. This dude, I mean, and not just in that room. I mean, he's a DJ legend, producer as well. But yeah, it was, in my brain is Boricua Anthem. When that shit came on, I knew he was gonna hit a couple other tracks that were awesome always. And then he would do his Freight Train song.
Oh yeah,
Which was
yeah.
another thing that, anytime you were at a party with him and you expected that. And when it did happen, man, it was awesome.
Right now he's
So-
playing at he still usually plays at D'Angelo's on near Rittenhouse Square on Fridays, and every once in a while he'll whip out the train.
For real?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Every once in a while, it's kind of rare, but it's
That is
like,
awesome.
Yeah. But if he's really feeling it, if the crowd's there, if it's a good crowd, if it's not raining, ideal conditions.
That is
summertime,
awesome.
He'll whip it out.
That is so cool, man. Yeah, big up to Robbie. God bless.
But
Thank you for inspiring so many people. So many DJs were inspired by him.
Yeah, me included. Now knowing him, I gave him my my old controller.
Oh, word.
Yeah, my my DJ Pioneer SR.
Cool,
I
man.
just gave him, like, because I was getting this, and I'm like,
Did you know him before I spoke to you about him, or
I
how did that come
no, I
about?
I knew him once you told me about him, and then it 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 went off in my head like, oh, I now live here in Philadelphia,
Uh
and like, who's this guy, Bobby Tronco? Like, that was it. It was just
huh.
like I gotta investigate it, and then I met up with various other DJs who were like the old house heads, that were playing in Philadelphia, like for Adam Bennett, let's say for example. They were always kind of like talking about Robbie, and then I Google. I think I went on Facebook one day and just typed in Robbie Tronco, and his Facebook profile just happened to be active that day, and he posted up, "Hey, I'm going to be at D'Angelo's," or he was at a couple other places before D'Angelo. He always had D'Angelo's, but he was at a couple other places on I think Thursday nights, Friday nights, and or Saturday nights. Now he's doing Club Atlantis as well on in Ben Salem
Okay.
on Saturdays just as well. But I saw him on Facebook, so I was like, I gotta meet up with this guy. I gotta say hello.
Cool.
And I was like, when I finally saw him at, I'm trying to think of the place. It's right next to Gino's Cheesesteaks, like right across the street.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah, it's the bar, like right across the street.
I'm not familiar, man.
Don't worry
I've
about it. It will
yeah.
come. It will come to me somehow. And if not, I'll just Google it. It's just, it's still there. It's like it's right nearby Garage Bar.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. But I met him there, and I was like, "Yo, are you Bobby Chunk?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, cool. I remember you from DJ Biz." It's like, "Oh yeah, DJ Biz. Okay, yeah,
Nah,
cool."
he didn't say that.
Yeah. He remembered.
No way.
He did. And then I kind of introduced myself. I was like, "I'm a DJ. Can I help you out in like in some kind of small little way?" And then I kept going back, every Thursday, Friday, and or Saturday. I forget
Yeah,
what
I
night.
saw you were like
I was just like, okay.
you were really shadowing the guy,
Yeah,
man.
I was just like, okay, let me just get in this guy's head and like see what he's about. Cause I don't know him from back then. I don't know him from when he was DJing Shampoo. I don't know him when he came out with Walk With Me. I don't know how he was back then.
Right.
So like, I gotta absorb everything now. And I was living in Philadelphia. So I was like, why the fuck not?
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I never got to be a personal friend of his. Um, but you know, what I did, he let me into the DJ booth one time, and I was stoked like you wouldn't believe. It was incredible because at that point, I mean, as a kid, dancing and having a good time
Yeah.
to his music, and me being a huge like fan of DJing at that time, but not really knowing much, kind of being a witness to what he's doing in the DJ booth was kind of like a really special moment.
Yeah.
And so when it finally happened, I was just,
Right.
I was in awe.
It's like whenever I talk to any one of the older DJs, almost everybody's older than me. Even though I know I'm 28, and there's younger DJs out there, but it's like when you talk to somebody who's been in the game for a little while, it's like you learn, tracks that were popular then.
Yeah.
With us newer DJs who've been in the game for like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years, we only recognize kind of like the tracks that are here now. But
Right.
then like 15 years from now, if we're still in the game, they become kind of classic. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But we don't know how it was back then. So it's like talk to the old heads and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Kind of get a feel for what was it like back then. Is always very cool.
Yeah.
It like, even though something is cool that's new now, like I don't know, like playing the new Cardi B or whatever, that's cool. But playing something super old, like I don't know, Big L, let's say for example, or I don't know if the occasion calls for, I don't know, like Beastie Boys or whatever,
Right.
whatever kind of random track for them. That's always kind of cool to whip out. And just happen to have that in your arsenal is always kind of cool when the time is right.
Yeah, and even if you don't have it, even if you don't happen to have it, I think that a big, big, big part of being a DJ is knowing your history, knowing where music came from, and that's what we do as DJs. We we are specialists and collectors,
Yeah.
and to know why things are happening now, you kind of have to have a little bit of knowledge of the past,
Oh yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
So every day
Yep.
I'm still learning about
That's right. You gotta have that.
samples,
Yep.
or producers or people who made, for example, who create who brought
The
up- who
Macarena.
well, no,
Hey, Macarena.
not so influential, but no, it's influential to some extent. But no, like who created the synthesizer? What were the
Yeah, drum
what,
machine.
what
Yeah,
were the
yeah.
things that led to the
Do
synthesizer
that.
being created,
Hmm.
and what was the first synthesizer? What did it sound like?
Yep.
And how did it evolve? Like those things. Now, in my age, I am curious about, and I want to learn more and more and more about. But every day I hear a new song that I think is new, but it's not really new. It's basically,
Kind of like
sampled.
yeah.
And nowadays, I'm crazy about having one. I want to have the sample
Hmm.
if I can.
Yep.
If I can somehow incorporate it into a DJ set that I'm doing, I like to do that. Although most of the time people don't really care if I'm doing, a party that is very, very just pop driven, and
Yeah.
it's just traditional, younger people just wanting to hear top 40 stuff.
Yep.
But I still want to have that knowledge,
For sure.
and I think that's really, really, really important. you know so making connections like you are, with Robbie or whatever
Yeah.
other DJs you find, to be kind of influential to you. Absolutely, man, that is so important.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And what from Robbie, I learned about Josh Wink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's a
Josh Wink was,
yeah,
a legend.
he still is. So
Yeah.
I just saw him about a month ago. He was playing at
Really?
yeah, he does a Wink Down like every year, like to celebrate his birthday
Oh,
at
nice.
Warehouse on Watts, and it's always hot. It's always hot. It's
Man,
always
I'm
hot
s-
when you enter in that room, like at like 11 o'clock. It's always hot. You got to take off your shirt, or at least I do sometimes, and just dance. It's just said dancing. I also just get lost in the rhythm.
Sure, sure. Yeah, man, I am so out of the, like the scene in Philadelphia. I don't
Mhm.
know what is going on, but yeah, good times,
But
at Shampoo and all like all that stuff.
for sure. Speaking of nights, you do have your own night, international nights, going on Thursdays at
Yes, well,
Pat's. It went away for a little bit. Now it's back.
yeah.
And are you seeing the same crowd there, like or like?
We surprisingly were seeing a few people that were there 2 years ago.
Mhm.
We went away for like 2 years, and when we kind of rebooted
Yeah.
now in 2019, quite a few of those familiar faces came back, which made me really, really, really happy, because International Night has always had this real family feel to
Mhm.
it. It's a lot of the same kids, a lot of the same people who like to hear, you know, music from their country
Yep.
or
Different ethnic
whatever,
groups. Yep.
and that like to hang out together, and that are very diverse, very open minded, and that's my kind of people. Like
Right.
that's the kind of people I like to be around.
Yeah.
Open minded, up for anything, and international people are very good at that.
Yeah, and
You know.
especially around New university, where there's a growing ethnic culture there. It's like their university that was trying to bring in more diversity,
Yes.
with their programs, and I'm definitely noticing that with international nights, as well as just perusing around campus on my bike, whether I'm just on a bike ride or whether or not, or just like cruising around Main Street, and I'm definitely seeing that. That's a good thing,
Yeah.
and just and in case you don't know, university that was ranked like one of the top party schools in the U.S. and now University of Delaware is aware of that, and they're very aware of the party spots around Main Street, and I feel that it's kind of sad that they're kind of finding and seeing all these like parties that are going down. Like, granted, some of those kids are drinking underage and all these other kind of all these other kind of offenses, but it it uh shows me that there's definitely a party scene there beyond just like going to Catherine Rooney's or Deer Park or anything else. I kind of wish that, considering there's a student body that's willing to hang out on Friday night. Hopefully, if they got their studies done and everything's in line. I wish there was like a club set up on Main Street. I think that would be a very kick-ass idea. Like to have like a nightclub set up on Main Street, like right nearby, um like Happy Harry's or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that would be super cool.
That would be super cool. Yeah,
I think that would be good business.
I think Delaware as a whole, not just Newark, not just the northern part of Delaware, but I think, I mean, people need a
People need to let go.
yeah, and I mean, but I mean that goes along with the whole, and I hate to be kind of a party pooper here, but the whole nightclub industry as a whole nationally has kind of gone
Yep.
down, you know, big time. So to expect nightclubs in Delaware, it's
It'd be a 1 to
it's
2 year thing.
it's kind
If
of
that.
too far out.
Oh no, it would
You
be.
know, so but yeah, would I love it? Absolutely.
yeah.
I would love it, you know, and I mean, I think all DJs and all people who enjoy dancing and enjoy nightlife would definitely like that. But there's so much politics at play in this area, especially in northern Delaware.
Really?
So
That's new to me.
yeah.
We'll stray off that. I don't want to get into. I don't want to
Yeah, let's not
press the
get too deep
drama.
on yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. We're not gonna get political on this show.
But anyway, Delaware Entertainment. How did that come about? I know because of Andrew Hugh.
First date?
Yeah, First State Entertainment.
First
That's
State.
what I meant to say. Sorry.
You're thinking of Willoughby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willoughby is the
Shout out to
mastermind.
Willoughby.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Willoughby is the mastermind behind um, First State Entertainment, and yes, that came along from his desire to bring a couple of us guys together and try to provide
Yeah.
quality service to clients, from private to nightlife. So we do mobile, we do everything.
Yeah.
We have a pretty good roster of guys who are great DJs,
Definitely
um,
anytime. Andrew Hugh,
great people.
Willoughby, yourself, Cartier.
Yep,
Yeah.
Brian, B. Lee.
Yeah, Billy, I haven't seen. I still haven't seen him live, even though like I'm not too far away from nearby McGlynn's. I still haven't heard him play. But
Yeah, you should catch
just
him
waiting on
sometime.
that. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, he
gotcha.
brings out the turntables and stuff and crushes it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine, dude. Um, let's see. My next question: How did you meet? How did you switching gears? How did you meet up with Brandy?
Uh, my Brandy.
Yeah.
Um. Well, I know Brandy from way back, close to my.
Another long story.
Yes,
It's
another very long
okay,
story.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with me. I got a lot of long.
That's
boring
good. No, that makes
stories.
up a ton.
But yeah, no, it's I I was playing a lot of Latin music
Mhm.
in I started with hip hop, so I was doing a lot of hip hop in '90s. Then as 1999, 2000 came about, I kind of went kind of open format, but it was more like Latin and then top 40.
Mhm.
But it was, open format nevertheless.
Mhm.
And I started to get the Latin stuff started to be so successful while I was working with a friend of mine, Jonathan Galindo, who was primarily a promoter. Him and I were throwing parties, and that was going really well. One of these parties called La Rumba, which was at Polidoro.
Ooh, that sounds sexy even today.
Polidoro Italian Grill on Route 13 was the beginning of that party. That is where a lot of Latinos and other people came out to
I would imagine
the
with a
party.
name like La Rumba.
La Rumba.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I met Brandy. I met Brandy there.
Okay.
She was a regular. Then I had much more contact with her at another spot, which was, if you remember, I don't know if you remember Kahunaville in
Yes.
Wilmington.
Red Room.
The Red
Yeah,
Room.
right nearby.
Yeah, the Red Room started. They also were interested in the Latin nights, and there were a few promoters that were throwing Latin parties there. And they chose me as their DJ. Jonathan, was part of that. And Brandy was showing up in those days to come and party. She would always request the same stuff, so I always knew, oh, here comes Brandy. I know what she wants to hear, and we were friends, and that was a good time. Then we lost contact. I mean, the Red Room closed, and the Latin scene kind of went into a little bit of a lull, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see Brandy for many years until 2013, where
Wow.
I was doing another Latin party. I had returned to the Latin scene.
Kind of reminds me of Tracy. Okay, we're
Huh?
a little bit off topic. It's fine.
Yeah, and then yeah, and I was DJing, and I think I remember a tap on my back, and here's this young lady, and she tells me who she is, because I at this point I kind of had forgotten, and I kind of tend to do that a lot. I forget a lot of people. My memory's terrible, but she spoke to me, and pretty quickly I recalled, and it all came back to me, and the rest is history.
Gotcha.
From there on, yeah,
Very cool.
2013. Yeah.
Kahunaville, in case you guys don't know who are listening right now, Kahunaville was like this like arcade, almost like what we have to Dave and Buster's and or mainline entertainment. That it's basically it was an arcade, but it was also kind of like a concert venue just as well. I remember just putting in so many damn tokens on like the ticket machines, or like just playing like Cruising USA. But I definitely had my fun there. But I never really went out to go to any of the concerts. I remember Red Room. I remember going there once for our birthday. It was a private event. I never went to any of the parties there. But I remember just going inside. I remember that was a pretty cool kick at the little spot. But then they got shut down, unfortunately. But that's how like the way it goes with nightclubs these days. It's like, you see them for like like a year or two, and then they're kind of they disappear, and maybe the owner decides to open up a bar or something else in its place, somewhere else. But that's the reason why I asked you that question with Brandy, because I'm still freaking single, and I went out first time. I tried speed dating out, like 2 weeks ago in Philly, and I had a good time there. It was at the Sonesta Lounge, the Sonesta Hotel in Philly. It's right nearby Brent House. I think it's up Chestnut. I forget where exactly, but I had a good time there, and I'm just trying to like find my own little groove. Like I had 5 minutes to like speak to each woman. Say who I am, what I'm doing now. Oh, you cute, da 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 da. Then 5 minutes up, I gotta switch to the next one. So I'm trying to find that rhythm. But it's cool to know that you and Brandy had a little bit of a divide, but you came back together. And
Right.
Like, yeah. So
There was a little bit of history there, yeah,
So-
which brought us together for sure.
it gives me hope.
Okay.
It gives me hope. It gives me hope for like I want to be in a relationship as well one day.
Okay.
Like something more than just like a fling.
Okay.
Well, I'm making strides. I'm making strides in that department. Shit.
Word. Okay, man.
Single.
Single and ready to mingle.
Yes,
Is what I'd say.
It still am, and I think it might be forever. But
No, you're
I don't
not.
know.
No, you're not. And I am really not a love doctor here, or not. My advice is probably not that great, but
I'm trying to find my own way.
but focus on your passions,
Mhm.
and I think it before you know it shows up.
Gotcha.
And it's organic.
Gotcha.
It happens. You don't expect it, and I think that's That's at least in my opinion the best way for it to happen, because a lot of times when you're actively seeking, you're actively
Yeah.
pushing for it,
Yeah.
it happens in kind of it's kind of forced, maybe.
Yeah, I understand. I get you.
But no, there's nothing wrong with actually putting yourself out there and trying to create opportunities.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so yeah, but don't sweat it too much. You clearly
I'm
have a
still young.
passion
I'm
here,
still young. I'm
and this is
28. I'm still young. I still got time.
you are
Yeah.
you are yeah yeah.
But anyway, how's the new house treating you? Is it have you gotten warmed up to the space, to the neighborhood, everything else?
Yeah, the new home. Actually, you know how DJs are. They keep a lot of crap. They have a lot of stuff. I mean, from speakers and everything else. It's you kind of need a big place, and I've been lucky to, I guess, have the opportunity of having room
Mm-hmm.
to keep my stuff and kind of be in very comfortable, in a very comfortable space. The place that we live in right now, it's not very spacious. So we are probably going to have to probably move soon,
Gotcha.
because yeah, we need more space.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's not a very good value. On
Mm-hmm.
top of the fact that it's not very spacious, it's also
Gotcha.
very expensive.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, but
I'd be glad to give you a hand once again. No problem.
uh,
If you ever happen to need it.
oh man, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
you've helped us a lot. Thank you so much.
Okay. Next question. How did you find out that you yourself had cancer? Like, how did that come about?
Uh,
Again, another long story.
Abruptly, yeah, very abruptly. It all, looking back on it, it all started with headaches. I was getting headaches.
Mm-hmm.
The headaches continued to get worse and worse and worse till I felt like they were not headaches anymore. They were what is the type of headache?
Like migraine.
Migraines. Yeah,
Kinda?
they were
Okay.
becoming migraines because they were starting to affect my vision a little bit.
Okay.
When I would get the headache, my I would be very visually sensitive to
Mhm.
bright light, for example, things like that, which are what I understand is people relate to a migraine. So this started to get really bad. It started
Mhm.
to get debilitating to the point where I would start to get sick. I would start to actually feel nauseous
Mhm.
when I would get the headache, and it would put me down for hours. So for a while there, I had to remain in a dark room to try to let it pass, and I knew this is not normal. This is not right. Um, Finally, I think it was December 31st of 2017. I'm sorry, 2016. Yeah. I was DJing one of my best friend's weddings. It was a New Year's wedding. And my headache, I got a migraine during a gig, which had never happened.
Mhm.
The other thing I had been getting were these things where I would lock up in the middle of my DJ sets or in the middle of any kind of stressful situation.
Gotcha.
I would have this moment where I couldn't think well, and I just kind of would, I felt like maybe I might faint. I would get really
Gotcha.
lightheaded. So things like this were happening way too often.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I had one at this wedding, and I had a really bad migraine at this headache. I mean, at this wedding, and it prevented me from actually properly finishing the wedding, which was kind of embarrassing. Thank God it was a friend of mine who I was DJing for, and he kind of understood. But it was not a good look.
I understand.
Overall, I ended up crashing at his house. He lives in Wilmington, and the wedding was at the museum in Wilmington, and yeah, the next day, Brandy had to come pick me up, and just a few days later, I was getting a CAT scan of my brain, which revealed there was a pretty big mass putting pressure on my brain, which was causing all this pain and all these side effects. And the doctor said, you need to go and get an MRI immediately and make sure, get a more detailed look on this thing. But at that point, we knew that there was a brain tumor there.
Gotcha.
We just didn't know if it was malignant or anything like that. And it all just happened very fast. I went from MRI, CAT scan to MRI, and then, appointment to actually have a surgery. So, the surgery revealed there was some malignant tumor and all that good stuff, which I'm glad is kind of beyond, not truly, but I still have a small bit of cancer in my brain. But the fact that I'm still here, it's great. But that's how it came about. Headaches and lightheadedness. Progressively got worse, and
Gotcha.
So to anybody out there, if you're experiencing this kind of symptoms, definitely pay attention.
Did Christiana Care take a look at you, or did you have to?
Christiana Care was the first institution that saw me, but unfortunately they don't have in my opinion they don't have the means and expertise to truly help somebody with any kind of glioma.
Gotcha.
So I ended up actually getting a second opinion from doctors at Duke in North Carolina. And it was through them that I was able to find the real solution, But thank you to Dr. Ray at Christiana. He
Ray.
did. Yeah, he did.
I know where to go to now.
He did the first surgery to remove most of the mass in my brain, and it was successful. I had very minimal impact from it, because there was, there's always a fear that you could come out, blind, maybe from one eye, or, just have serious deficits, that could impair you to move or to talk, or, you could have come out, you could come out from something like that.
Right. You wouldn't have left, what's the word for it? You wouldn't have left without something else happening to you, potentially.
Yeah, you could come out of that operation a completely different person, and thank God that didn't happen to me. I am extremely thankful, and this whole experience has changed me in so many ways, spiritually, religiously. It's changed the way I think about everything, the way I think about DJing, the way I think about getting up every day. I mean, it's one of those things that truly give you perspective in life.
Speaking of perspective, I don't know about that FPV perspective, that drone perspective.
Oh,
You're the only guy that I know, which is super duper cool, that flies drones, doesn't crash them, and like has fun with it. It's like the new RC car, but it's like way more like visceral.
Yeah.
And now I think that's actually sport with drone racing and everything else. I haven't tuned down much into it. I'm sure. I'm guessing like Twitch may stream something like that as far as drone racing. How did you get into that? Like, who introduced you? Was it the internet that introduced you to it? Or like playing around?
It's actually a DJ friend of mine. DJ friend of mine who is kind of a tech geek, and just he's a gadget. I mean, most DJs are gadget lovers. We love
I got
our
my
toys.
bikes. Yeah, I got my equipment here.
Yeah, we love our toys. So my buddy
we have the AC going off. That's all in the background. So if you hear that,
there's a very kind
of
there's a little bit of bass coming off of it.
Like, there's a party right behind us, actually, across the street.
I kind of feel.
You guys can't hear it through the microphones, but we could feel it. Trust us.
Cool. Yeah, my buddy Blade, DJ Blade from Southern Delaware. He is a legend, that dude, and he put me on to um, drones,
Okay.
race drones,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and in particular the FPV hobby, which is stands for first person view. Um, do a Google or get on YouTube and do FPV drone racing, and you will come up with all kinds of really, really cool stuff that looks like it's all sped up, but it's not. It's
It's real time.
real time, like true speed, but it's freaking amazing. So I've always loved RC hobbies, mostly terrestrial, cars and off road vehicles,
Yep,
especially.
yep,
I
yep.
like the off road.
Little 4x4s.
Yes,
Big
yes,
tires.
yes,
Little
yes.
how big are those motors? Like 25 cc? I don't know.
What the?
Those like
Oh,
gas motors.
Oh, the nitromethane. Yeah.
They use nitrometh?
Yeah,
Real
yeah.
nitrometh, like stuff that's in like a top fuel dragster.
Yeah, it's mixed. It's mixed.
Okay,
with,
it's a little
mixed
bit
with
mixed.
oil. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's hella flammable.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's good stuff. It's a lot of fun, but it's very dirty. These little engines are powerful and fun, but it's a very maintenance intensive hobby. But it's really, really fun. But pretty soon the electric kind of scene came and started to change
okay.
the hobby for all RC stuff. Where you're flying or you're driving a boat or driving a car. It doesn't matter. The electric
Battery technology's gone a long
battery
way.
technology has changed everything, and brushless motors. So yeah, my friend Blade follows these trends, and I was ready to buy a new RC car that had a brushless motor, and I wanted to add another one to my
Double brushless.
my collection.
So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
twin
some-
turbos.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
like, I wanted to get something
RX-7. Check this
really
out.
ridiculous and big and all. And he said, "Why are you wanting to buy another car? You know where that leads. You know what that's like. Why don't you get in the air? Why don't you start flying?" And my reasoning at the time is, it sounds too difficult, and it sounds really expensive, right? So he started showing me around,
Okay.
sending me links and sending me examples of what was out there at the time. And this was the beginnings of kind of like the FPV racing scene.
Okay.
And then I realized, like, wow, this is really not that expensive. And as the years have come by now, it has gotten even cheaper, which is crazy. The rate at which the hobby is becoming affordable. So now, it totally makes sense to get into it.
Are there local shops around here where you can purchase various parts? I know, of course, you can get them online.
There's a new shop that opened in People's Plaza, which I was surprised to see just a few days ago. And I kind of went in to check out what
I have a feeling, without even looking at it, it's right next to the vape store for some reason.
It's close. It's close. Yeah. Yeah.
Vapes. I feel like vapes and FPV go together for some crazy reason. But yeah. I feel like
Yeah. But I went in there and they have some stuff, not a lot. It's one of those things where, I mean, they can't really get into it unless there is a community.
Oh yeah. I seen it actually. It's like in the corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
far side.
Yeah, and they sell RC stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're relatively new.
And so yeah, those guys don't have really like what I would need.
I understand.
But it's one of those things where if you and your buddies start, show interest,
Right.
they might invest and they might want to help you out
Gotcha.
as a community, and then you give them business, they help you out,
Right.
and
Do that back and forth.
exactly,
Yeah.
it becomes a thing. But unfortunately, there's just not that many people in the area doing FPV. So, I wanted to kind of really be part of the growth element and try to get more people involved. Unfortunately, cancer happened and so many other things, and I had to kind of stop the hobby completely, because it is a hobby that requires a lot of time, a lot of focus.
Gotcha.
So, and I kind of like to do things, in full and commit
Yeah.
to it. And if I'm only gonna be able to do it half-assed, then I'd rather not do it at all.
Gotcha. I understand.
Kind of,
It was kind of like me with golf. I do like the game of golf. I do admire the game of golf. I know Tiger Woods just recently won the Masters after like 14 years again.
Oh yeah, man,
Shout
I
out
saw
to Tiger
that.
Woods. Congrats to him, and winning the Masters once again, another major. Tip of the cap to him. But me and golf, I tried golf. Trying off and just like shooting some rounds at the range with the driver, then actually trying to do some like 16 hole, 18 hole, 16 was it 18 hole or 16 hole? I forget. But anyway, at least do it like a half game, maybe like 9 holes or
Okay.
12 holes. But it takes so much damn time.
Right.
And as much as I admire the game, it takes some time. And considering I'm still more already into cycling with the road bikes, mountain bikes.
Yeah, that's really your thing, man. I really admire you
take that
because
full force. That's going to be a lifelong thing.
Your biking hobby, I mean your biking career really is I admire it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's like you can only put so much money away in all these different hobbies before like it becomes like a money pit.
Right.
And I'm thinking like I always admire cars too. But it's like, if you want to get into cars, it's like, that's a whole nother dimension. You might as well say, I'm going to buy an F1 team at that point. At that point, it's just like, if you have it, you're going to need it, especially for motorsport. And if you plan to race, tires, our consumables, you got to pay for fuel, you got to pay for fees, you got to travel there, you got to pay for hotels, you got to whip out the trailer to bring the car, or cars.
That's
sleeper arrangements, food.
That's
it
really
adds up
expensive hobby.
really quick. Too fast. It's too big. And as much as I want to get into that, I'm gonna have to scale down.
Why don't you do it? Why don't you do? I mean, I have a buddy of mine that kind of was.
Oh, don't say it.
Pretty,
oh no, I'm gonna get sucked in.
Pretty big in that scene.
Get it away.
Yeah, no. Why don't you do like autocross and have fun, like doing autocross and fix the car up a little bit,
Well, see,
I mean, it's still expensive,
right?
but
it's less expensive than I understand.
Yeah,
but it's like at that point, I don't know if I can be there that often. I can only be there like I don't know, maybe once or twice a year or 3 times. Like
right,
I tried skiing just as well. It was kind of I'm feeling it might be the same way like skiing. Like I would only go up to the Poconos like 3 to 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And I would have. Don't get me wrong. I would have a good time, but just getting there and finding the time to make my way up there was consuming. I would never really do it all that often. Whereas with cycling, I can just go like right at my doorstep and ride my road bike like X amount of miles. It's right there. It's always there.
Yeah.
As opposed to the mountains, as opposed to skiing, and we need snow.
Right.
We don't have that majority of the year.
Yes.
And that would help. But with autocross, there's also this a drift scene here. Just it's like first take drift. I think that's what they're called.
Oh, that's cool.
They have something down at Dover Downs.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, they do have like track events.
Oh, that's
cool.
They
do like a little mini oval, or maybe they go around the Monster Mile. No, I'm not sure they actually go on the track, but
hey man, if I'd be interested, go check it out. If you ever hear about an event going on, I'd go with you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I'm a gearhead, even though I don't have the means to support a hobby and with a nice car and whatnot. I still like to enjoy and watch.
Dude, you got the Astrovan.
Oh, man.
You got the Astrovan. How is that treating you? Still going strong.
Yeah, man. The Astro is a sick van,
Those are going up in value, I think, because at least in Philly, from one year,
I
because
don't know
like,
about that, but
well, everybody needs a work van, and it's either I feel the Astro van or the Ford Transit, and they're both selling. Even I think the Astro van's still, but it's like to find something in decent shape, it's gonna cost you a little bit.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. The transit is kind of like the the new way of
Yeah,
how
the
vans
new
are
work
made.
van for sure.
Yeah, it's like I'm not a big fan of like I like the old school vans because they were rear wheel drive.
With like a Chevy, like Chevy Astro,
Chevy
like
Astro. I mean, I had
whatever,
a couple for Aerostars.
Aerostars. That's not right. Yeah.
You know, but I mean, any just about any. I mean, even if you go back to the 70s and you know that whole era of minivans, like you know, like the one from
Tricked out minivan.
yeah, man. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole van scene is definitely dope. You know, it's totally underrated. But for especially for DJ work, man, nothing beats a nice little, you know, like rear wheel drive Astro van or Ford Aerostar. Unfortunately, the Ford Aerostar is now just too old, and there's no parts for it. You know, like the one that I had, the last one that I had
Was it a V6?
it was a 6-cylinder.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them are 6-cylinder. And that van I babied until I couldn't locate parts for it.
Gotcha.
You know, rubber pieces, you know, are rotting, and you know, vacuum hoses and things like this, you know, start to go bad, and then you try to get a part, the dealership doesn't have it. They call other parts, you know, places in the United States.
And they don't even have it.
They don't have it. And then that's how you know you need to look for a newer car. And, you know, the logical move forward for a guy that is into those type of vehicles is the Astro, which lasted a little longer, has a little bit more parts availability. So, you know, but pretty soon that you know, the Chevy Astro and the Chevy Safari, the
Safari.
GMC Safari.
Oh man, I bring it back.
Yeah,
Bring that
the
back,
GMC Safari is the same thing as an Astro. It's just, you know, what
different
GMC
body,
put
different
out.
mark, yeah.
Yeah, but it's the same exact vehicle. So you know, those vans will eventually also be, you know, go by the way of the Aerostar.
That's how it kind of was with my car before I got the VW, with my G20, with my Infiniti G20, which I traded in for my 2011 Jetta Sport Wagon, which I like. But it like I knew the steering rack. There was a leak in the steering rack, and nobody had a steering rack, and not to mention the cost it did quite a pretty penny in order to get that replaced.
Right.
Now, granted, it was just a gradual leak. If you just dipped in a little bit of power steering fluid here and there, it would be a-okay. But I knew that it was leaking, and there were some other minor issues with it. Because I put quite a bit of money into it, put like $2-3 into it, and it ran fine. But even with all the money I dumped into it with the exhaust and tires and gaskets and brakes, and then all the time I put into it, there was still some rust in that rear quarter panel. I couldn't get that out, so I was like, I think it's about time. I better switch it up.
Yeah, it's so sad when you have to let
it's
guys
like
go
it's letting a friend go. You know that car. You know how it
It's
drives.
like the old dog that is just you know has been with you for so long and it's just faithful and awesome, but he's just too old.
He's a little tired.
You know, yeah, he's just you know letting you know like, hey man, I only got a little bit longer. You know, and
don't chug along.
Yeah, but man, those are the ones that you really go like, man, you know, I cherish that car or that dog or that whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's almost like you whipping out that an old record, kind of sort of when you look back. When you look back at it, it's
Right.
like, oh, it took you there. at this time you experienced those memories with it, good and bad. Maybe it left you stranded every once in a while.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it took it took you to the buddy's house. It took you to the restaurant. It took you out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. You took
it
it on
got
vacation.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
memories associated with that. There's experiences, and then to think that maybe if you bought it used, it had another life or maybe two
Yeah.
different lives
Yep.
before it. So yeah, man, we got deep into cars.
A little bit. But
Yeah, but the new vans that they sell in the United States are so terrible. I just,
really,
yeah, like that Transit.
I was thinking of getting one before I got my wagon.
Yeah.
But now I got the wagon. It's like, oh, I got a wagon. Nobody else
Yeah.
has got the wagon.
You know what's a shame,
kind of,
man?
sort of.
Just to end this whole automotive bet we're
Yeah.
doing here. Europe gets all the cool vans. Those
And
guys
also
have-
wagons as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Like with
they
Audi,
have-
especially.
Yeah, they have European cars, man. Like Volkswagen has awesome vans. Mercedes-Benz has awesome vans, and their wagons. So yeah, I'm a station wagon guy too, man. Like I love station wagons. One day when my load becomes a little bit more reduced,
Mm-hmm.
and I can rock a station wagon, I really, really want to get like an old like AMG Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah,
station
yeah,
wagon.
like E63 wagon.
Yes,
Woo, man.
yes.
Twin turbo V8 wagon.
AMG, dude. Oh man.
Man, that's
Yeah, that
That's
would be
good.
I'm good. Thank you.
Gotcha.
That would be my dream ride, really. But yeah, at this point, there are so many other things that are important that I have to accomplish and that I dream about.
No, you want the car. Beyond anything else, you want the
Yeah,
car.
no,
No.
not I actually really want to get back into drones because the drones are they are so they take me to a different place.
Literally,
and yeah,
mentally,
yeah,
I-
but it's so relaxing, man. It's so relaxing. I mean, I compare it to probably what it's like when you're stressed and you hop in your bike and you just take you just go to the park.
Yeah, and you just pedal it out.
Yep.
And you see what's around you, and yeah, you're aware of the traffic potentially behind you, but you see all this different landscape. Like when I was I did a 50-mile ride to going up 896. Nearby like Amish kind of country. You see these
Yeah.
wide open spaces,
Yeah.
and when there's no traffic around, it's very peaceful. I understand that.
Yeah, and you're focused. You're focused on doing something. So it immediately, I mean, it's just automatic. It takes you away from thoughts of stress, from thoughts of whatever it may be.
It's a singular kind of focus.
Yes. To fly these drones, you have to be focused. You have to be space aware, especially if you're going fast. And especially if you're kind of trying to do any kind of performance flying. So it requires all of you. All of your brain, 100% of your senses need to be engaged. So that does not allow time for you to be thinking about,
Right.
troubles of any kind. You're just flying. And to me, being up in the air, and doesn't have to be high, but just flying you feel like Superman in these goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I ever let you wear the goggles while I flew?
No. I've seen
Oh.
that you do have a YouTube channel. What is your YouTube channel, by the way?
I don't disclose the
Okay, okay, we'll leave it at that. If you want to go find it yourself on YouTube,
Yeah.
wherever that potentially may be.
Yeah.
But I've seen those. I've seen those.
I have some videos on my DJ Bis page. So if you
Gotcha.
want to check some of my videos of drones that I put out,
Gotcha.
they are going to be there. And as much as I don't like to combine personal with
Gotcha.
kind of professional,
Gotcha.
I did, out of excitement, I just ended up putting a couple short clips there. And also on my Instagram, there's quite a good bit of little flight
Gotcha.
stuff.
But I never tried the goggles. I never tried the FPV. I never tried it.
I want to get back into it. And when I do, you're definitely going to
I'm gonna
have
go
a
for the
set of
ride.
goggles, and we're going to go for a flight.
I'm
Yes.
just gonna go spying on people. Look
Yeah.
through people's windows.
No. Stop perpetuating that shit.
I'm for real.
No,
I'm
you
totally
can't. You
fine
can't
with it.
spy worth shit with these things. They're so loud.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, well, there's because they're so small.
Well, no, they're just loud,
Okay.
and yeah, and they don't have a high quality camera that you could
Gotcha.
really spy with.
Gotcha.
So there's we could, if we got into drone
Yeah.
talk, man, we could yeah, I would bore your audience to death. But
It would be you would be the only like if you were to make a drone podcast, it would be the only one, which is I think super duper cool.
a what?
A drone podcast, like if you ever thought about doing a podcast, is like have like DJ Blade on him talking about
Oh,
drones,
dude,
like
that would be
giving like
awesome.
super duper into it.
Yeah.
You know, because this for a podcast these days, there's almost like every single kind of different facet. You know, we use like everything from Joe Rogan to the Smoking Tire podcast to talking about cars to I think even like Dr. Drew has his own podcast now, and you know about health and medicine, whatever. But
Yeah.
you can for this kind of like avenue, you can kind of take it however you want to.
Yeah, there are a lot of really
Lot of channels.
cool podcasts on the for drones and FPV in particular.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean just Google it. Yeah, you'll find a podcast for everything nowadays. But the podcasts for drones. I mean, well, if you're into drones,
Right.
then you know. But FPV is just a whole
Next
new
level.
level of experiencing flight, which is so cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap this up a little bit. I think we're at like almost
Yeah,
like
man.
an hour 30.
At least.
Yeah, give or take. So this has been good. Um, sorry for the little technical hiccup. We had some issues with just finding like how to cue our headphones in because we needed to listen and all I had to do was press the fucking restart button and like
Yeah.
after
No,
for
it's.
30 minutes and we got it. But how do you like the controller? You got your controller now.
I'm living that controller life
The
now,
controller
man.
life,
I
man.
am actually living controller life. I never thought I'd say that because I was never really a purist, a turntable purist or a turntable, fanatic. I mean, I am a believer of the importance of approaching DJing from the traditional way.
Right.
2 turntables, a mixer, a microphone. I think that's always really important. And if you can get a taste of 12-inch
Yeah.
12-inch manipulation of music,
Yeah. That feel.
yep, that is absolutely like crucial. I think it's really important. But I'm also realistic, and I know that many people can't do it for a number of reasons, and it's not gonna happen for so many of them. For those that do get a chance to do it, I have been witness to the benefits of having that that ability to basically access turntables and start with that. It leads to really, really good things in the future, no matter what equipment you're using. So it's a really important part of becoming a DJ, I think. But the controller life is nice. I normally carry a 2-channel mixer or a 4-channel mixer. For many, many years, I used a DJM series mixer with a CDJ pair. Excuse me. And I kept flipping back and forth between 2 Techniques 1200s and the Pioneer mixer. Then I went to Rain, and I started using a Rain 62 with Denon SC3900s, which are driven platters, motorized
Right.
platters, which are really, really nice. They're probably my favorite size platter, 9-inch platter, kind of in between a 7-inch, which is the smaller traditional
Right.
controller size, and the 12-inch. A 9-inch are just kind of happy.
They're in between.
It's
Yeah, happy medium.
happy medium, and they're beautiful. But they have their problems, and they're really old. I've had them now for many years. So in my search to find the next place I should go, I was considering going just back to turntables again, which I'm very happy to do, but not happy to carry that weight again.
Gotcha.
And then my buddy kept telling me, this whole controller life is actually pretty nice. You might like it if you try it, So I put my hands on a few controller platters. I tried Denon, didn't really like it. I tried Pioneer. They seem to have the better feeling, kind of the better feel, the tactile
Better layout.
essence is.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
I'm always a fan of Pioneer's layout.
Mhm.
I'm not a fan of their customer service and their quality overall, but you have to make certain compromises. And given how the technology has advanced, and the fact that they are producing stuff that is very different to what I was experiencing back in mid 2000s, early 2000s,
9-day. Oh, yeah,
I
for sure.
figured I'm gonna give it a try. I'm
Mhm.
gonna give it a chance, and I'm happy with it. I'm using a DDJ. It's a DDJ SX3,
Mhm.
and it has the little platters.
Yep.
I think they're 6-inch or 7-inch.
Yeah, it's about the same size. But
Yeah, and I thought this is not gonna work for me, but again, the compromise is nice and comfortably small
Mhm.
and fairly light. It fits in a lot of DJ booths that I was struggling to fit my turntables and my mixer, so I had to go with something small. Even the bigger controllers were not gonna be good for me.
Mhm.
So I decided to go with the DDJ SX3, which I gotta give a shout out to my buddy Rich in New York, who hooked me up with an amazing price. If anybody needs, it doesn't even matter if it's Pioneer. He carries all major brands and has amazing deals. Sorry for the long plug for my buddy Rich
No, that's
in
fine.
New York.
That's fine. I was gonna
But,
kind of wrap it up with plugs anyway.
Yeah,
and protos and
get in
shout-outs.
touch with
Yeah.
me, and I'll put you in touch with Rich, who is an amazing character, great DJ, and amazing dealer.
He's got those deals.
Yes, he's got the deals, man, and he gets a lot of really cool stuff in his shop. But anyways, the controller life is good. I'm really happy with the DDJ SX3. I'm even more happy with Serato. Serato has come a long way, and I'm really happy with my new computer, my Lenovo P71, which I'm a Windows guy pretty much all day, every day.
Big 17. It's nice. It is nice. It's
Well, some guys don't like big computers.
I know,
I have my
understandably.
reasons.
Yeah,
and I,
yeah.
I always had a big computer, and I just come to like it.
Yeah.
And I'm.
That's you. That's awesome though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People laugh at me. DJs laugh at me when I have.
What? I think
Yeah.
that's
Like
badass.
I've done sets before, where a couple of DJs have to play, and they're
Oh,
all,
you big ass laptops in my way.
Yeah. They have their neat little MacBooks,
Little
13-inch
MacBook Airs.
MacBooks,
Aw, cute.
all arranged on a shelf in front of the turntables. And here I come with this monster that I needs to go somewhere,
Needs a power supply.
and they're all like, "What the hell is this? What? How do you even get that in the building?"
How's that? How did you put the tank in the front door?
Yeah, man, that thing could do some damage. It's awesome. But yeah, this new computer is allowing me to do all kinds of cool stuff that I didn't really think I was gonna get to do, because I didn't think I was gonna buy another computer.
Yeah.
But I did, and
Do you still have the old one?
I do.
Oh, shit.
I do. I have two old ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But they're still running everything. Yeah.
They still operate. Yeah, they
do
can
it.
still.
That's all it did.
They'll
Yeah.
still rock Serato
nice.
Scratch Live.
That's nice to know, because because this one comes, I've taken off the back cover, And I like my desktops, so I like to take them apart every once in a time to clean them. With laptops, I'm not quite sure how to do that, but it's nice to know that potentially if I can find like maybe 2 or 3 of the same battery, I can still keep it running.
Right.
Hopefully forever, but well, not forever because software is going to be at that time is going to be kind of like outpacing it.
That's the limiting factor
That is
eventually.
the software, yeah.
Yeah.
But hopefully I can at least get it to still run and maybe play some music on it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, to still keep it kind of running.
Yeah.
You know, maybe have a second life for it potentially by
Yeah.
chance.
If not, you could use it as maybe as a multimedia.
Kind of like interface, yeah.
You could use it at home to run your media center.
Yeah. Oh, maybe maybe use it for lighting.
That too.
Lighting setup, which I still have to get into to a degree. I gotta work on lighting, but I've never really felt the use for lighting all that much. It's just primarily audio, like we're having now.
If clubs were a thing in this area,
Yeah.
I would definitely consider becoming, you know, a lighting.
Yeah, and everybody's
Lighting tech.
selling their like old lighting gear and stuff like that.
Because I love the whole. That's another thing. Going back to Shampoo.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they used to actually pay a lighting guy to.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sit next to
Yeah,
Robbie and run the lights, and the shit those guys did was amazing.
Trippy.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, like it's an art form. You know, I remember going to Murmur in Atlantic City back in the day. Burkat.
Ooh,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of clubs, you know, have talented, talented, you know, lighting
DJs.
designers and lighting operators who are amazing, you know, and they're basically writing it out with the DJ. They're feeling every moment, and they're feeling, you know, they're just playing up to the DJ's vibe, and when
the crowd's feeling it with the music.
And when that comes together, man, that's special. That's the whole same thing that we were talking about, feeling. You know, you feel the music, you feel the vibe, and the lighting is a big aspect of that. You know, that
it drives the music home. It drives the music home. It lets you know where you're at.
Yeah, to the heart.
Yeah. There you go.
To the spirit, man, to your soul. Yeah.
100%. Do you have any shout outs? Anybody who you wanna anything you wanna promote or put out there?
I wanna shout out God.
Boom.
God.
There you go.
Above all, you know.
You're here now. God bless.
He's keeping me here, man. I don't know if I'll be here much longer. I don't know how long I have, because it is uncertain. Unfortunately, that is the you know, the situation with my health, you know, with my cancer. So, you know, at this point, my purpose is to help as many people as I can, enjoy as much as I can, while just, you know, like DJ M said, not hurting anybody, but still enjoying life and bringing as much, you know, enjoyment to others as I can. You know, whether, you know, I see myself now as a kind of, I want to be a tool for other people to come up.
Gotcha.
In whichever way I can, whether it's DJing or drones or whatever, you know, spiritual help, whatever, you name it. I wanna be that guy, you know, and I've always been kind of that person that wants to be there to help. But now, especially after the perspective that I've gained from all this, But yeah, absolutely. Shout out to
the main man upstairs,
the one and only, the main man upstairs, who's kept me here this long when I probably didn't even deserve it. Yeah, man.
But I guess we'll just leave it there at this point. I think we're like about.
Shout out to you too, man.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I am extremely proud of how far you've come.
Thank you.
And I do hope that you continue to do this. You know, always keeping in sight the number one rule, which is have fun.
Yeah.
You know, the moment it starts to become not fun, that's when it starts to not make sense.
Right.
So keep it fun, keep it light, you know, keep it beautiful. And
thank you. If it wasn't for you, I would I would not have experienced as much fun as I've
Oh
been
man, thank
having
you.
for X amount of time.
Well, it's been a pleasure, man, and I'm happy to see guys like you, guys like girls like DJ Jolie, who
Shout out to Jolie.
has also DJ Jolie, man, killing it. Yeah, air horn all the way, man. Absolutely. Yeah, she is another tremendous point of pride, not only for me but for the whole DJ community, man. Yeah. And all the Delaware DJs, all the Philly DJs, all the hardworking DJs, all the people who really, really, really care about the industry. Thank you so much. Keep educating your audiences. You know, um, always put a little piece of yourself into each set. Make it personal. Talk to your audiences, speak to them. Um, if you're not the type to grab a microphone, speak to them through your music. Make sure that 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 they take a little piece of you home. Um, and what else can I impart here?
And if it's too loud in a club, make a podcast. That's kind of one of the reasons. This is one reason I kind of made the podcast just as well, because it was like it's too loud in the club to have sometimes a casual conversation. I'm trying to like read their mouth, and I'm like, it's kind of being garbled and the amazing music that's being played. So I'm like, I gotta start something like outside of the club and outside of the room where I can actually talk to people.
Yeah,
this is like that's one of the reasons why I made this podcast, and also to kind of learn in others and to kind of like experience their perspective, because we have a community of DJs here who I feel like have to be noticed for their efforts. Almost like I kind of modeled this after RA Exchange, to where I want to put others in the spotlight for what the work they've done, and I feel they deserve to be heard, because when you travel overseas or anything else, to talk about the food, to talk about the architecture, but not so much the music, and I feel that that's very you don't really hear that as often. I gotta put that in the spotlight, man.
Sure, man. That's really cool, and that's part of the whole education thing that I was talking about. There are guys that are looking up to you.
I never thought that. Shit.
There are guys probably right now who are like, I want to be like Xclude.
Yeah, there you go.
And you're going to carry that torch, and by having us speak and by having guests here, each guest is going to impart hopefully some kind of knowledge that'll be influential to those generations. And that's what we always have to think. We have to think about who's behind us that is going to be
next in line, I guess.
Yes, exactly, man. So but education is essential. If we want to be DJs, or if we want this DJ thing to continue, we have to continue to remind new generations where it came from, how it happened, who were the key people that kind of took it along and made it what it is today, and then and so forth.
Gotcha.
for more and more years. This is, I think we're living a really cool moment right now technologically, where we get access to being DJs much easier. So, but we can't let that, let the traditional ways and all the history disappear, because, but educating is a big part. And not only that, but also educating audiences to the art, to what, if you want to, include music that you're a fan of, being able to do it tastefully and being able to do it in a way that they appreciate it, they accept it. It's a real art, but introducing them to the art and letting them see that it's not just a guy playing songs.
Right.
It's not just a guy playing, playlists. It is a guy that truly has love for those particular songs that are being played, and that puts a lot of effort into his work and all of that. That's the real deal with DJing, man. It's not, And if people don't know that that's what's going on, they will never respect it. They will never truly admire it. They'll never want to pay for it. So for DJs who want to make it a career, it'll never happen if we can't correct the way things have been going. Because I feel like the whole, DJing has been lost in many ways because of technology. Unfortunately, people have music readily available in their fingers and their mobile devices everywhere, and that makes it, I think, makes people feel like it's not very, it's so accessible. It's not worth much,
Right.
But what a DJ is doing is completely different than just finding songs and just putting them on a playlist and playing them. A DJ is curating. It's a curator, a collector, and a person with knowledge that is performing this music in a particular order to create a particular vibe.
Right.
So I'm I'm carrying on now, but yeah. So basically, educating audiences is absolutely key. Whether it's just through your Instagram, talking to people, obviously through your music that you play. And the last thing I'm gonna say is take risks. Take risks. Do it smart. Do it in a way that
I could really go off the hinge with that. No, I'm not gonna say.
Yeah,
it.
no.
Keep on.
Take risks, man. Take musical risks when you're playing. Sure, the risk, you might fail.
Right, but that's the excitement of it.
That is the excitement of it. That's what makes DJing exciting, and a lot of that goes. It's kind of forgotten because
you're so used to pressing like a playlist button on Spotify.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's so easy to just get through a gig playing, the most popular songs.
Right.
But I think that, bringing in a level of risk is good for you, it's good for your audience, and this is the kind of thing that makes you a much better DJ. When you take a risk, maybe you learn something about what you did there. Maybe you learned that people really liked it, and you would have never tried this because that's not what you normally do. But take risks, take risks, and always be smart about it. Have something ready in case it doesn't work. You have an exit strategy. But taking risks is absolutely essential. I think that whole concept leads to a lot of failures, but in the end, you learn a lot from it, and it's fun, and it's what keeps my adrenaline going during a night, and if it fails, it fails. But when you actually when it works,
it's magical.
The level of reward that you get from that is amazing. So take risks, take leaps. Yeah.
I think we ended off there, Biz. Thank you, DJ Biz.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric. DJ Xclude. I hope to see much more from you, man.
This is episode 2 of Include with Xclude podcast signing off. Thank you very much. Hopefully I'll see you in episode 3 with whomever wonderful guest I'll have on. Thank you. Later.
Thank you.
Out.
Just a quick post edit here, y'all. DJ Bis will also like to mention to give a quick thank you to DJ Manny Man for all the support and inspiration throughout the years. A shout out to DJ DC, DJ Maze, and the whole Delaware DJ scene for supporting me during my most difficult times as I battled cancer. Just had to throw that in there. Thank you.